I hope you are all well. I am also well. Last class, I told you that we have finished our first papers all lessons, and some of your honorable teacher and madam are taking those classes, and you have already finished the classes of grammar section. So it will be better for you if we go for practice once again all of them. So I have only touched um, articles, prefix, suffix, and fill in the blanks. That's why I am going to touch the new point so that some of my students can get the revised for the grammar section, and some of you may like my lesson and you may like the previous teachers' lessons or opinions. So different type of student can understand different way. So I welcome you once again on my class. I am Muhammad Roibul Islam, assistant teacher of English, Satkhira Government Girls High School, Satkhira. So in our class today we will learn about narration. Narration means description of something. Actually, the words comes from the Latin word narrate. Narrate means to tell someone about something. That means we have to use here third person. That means descriptive way in novels, in short stories, we notice that types of sentences. Actually, what may be the sentence, it doesn't matter. All the narrative sentence must be assertive sentence. Okay, so let's start our today's class. Okay. Narration or narrative sentence can be divided into two types. The first one is direct, and the second one is indirect. In question, you will have direct narration, and you have to change the direct narration into indirect speech or indirect narration. Okay, and there are some options, there are some professions, and which will help you to change the sentences. Like I am going to write down a sentence. He says to me, I am playing football now. Okay, this is a direct sentence or direct speech. Here he is the subject, or we can say reporter says is verb, me here object. That means it is reporting verb, reporting RP, reporting verb. Here this full sentence is reported speech, reported speech. Here I is subject, be verb, playing is main verb, football is object, and now here is an adverb. So to complete a direct speech to indirect one, we have to follow only four rules. Only four rules. That means there are different types of sentence, like assertive, imperative, optative, interrogative, and even exclamatory. Whatever you can change, all the sentence will be assertive. I am repeating once again that the what will be the sentence, it doesn't matter, the answer will be in assertive form. Okay. So to complete your answer, you have to follow 4 rules. The first rule, you have to identify the sentences. Okay. So identify the sentence. That means the sentence may be assertive, imperative, optative, exclamatory, etc. At first we have to identify, then you have to follow some certain rules. I am going for that on next time. Secondly, we have to identify the tense. We know that there are 3 tense: past, present, and future, and these 3 tense are subdivided also into 4. That means simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Most of the time you will have the first 3 on, that means simple or indefinite, continuous, and perfect. Third option, you have to change the pronoun. Change the pronoun. And finally, we have to change the adverb. Change the time, place, that mean adverb. Okay. So I am repeating once again, to complete a direct sentence to indirect one, you have to follow these 4 rules. That means you have to, at first you have to know the sentence and tense, then you have to change the pronoun, and finally change the time and place. And in case of changing the tense, you have to follow the changing rules of verbs. Okay. So I have written down one sentence that he says to me, I am playing football now. Okay. First one is that how to change and what to change, and the way of changing verb and way of changing adverbs. And what to change, at first you always remember that we know that there are 3 types of number, that means singular number, plural number, and person. We can divide the person as 3 types: first person, second person, and third person. So most of the time we notice that first person, second person, and third person are available, but plural number is very few. That is why you have to remember that subject equal to I equal to subject. That means it may be we, I or we. Subject, you equal to object. That means I can say in Bengali that যদি তুমি কখনো সেন্টেন্সের ভিতর দেখো রিপোর্টেড স্পিচের ভিতরে আই বা উই আছে, তাহলে সেটা সাবজেক্ট অনুযায়ী চেঞ্জ হবে। তো সাবজেক্ট মূলত কোথায়, রিপোর্টার যে, সেইটাই সাবজেক্ট। সো হিয়ার সাবজেক্ট ইজ হি, and if the subject comes as you, then it will be changed as object. Okay. In case of third person, there will be no change. Okay. This is the simple 3 way to change the pronoun. Okay, clear? If you have any problem, please comment. So there are 3 options to change the pronouns. Next one, we have the changing of tense. I am erasing all the sentence so that I can write down clearly, then I will write the sentence once again. Okay. If you have any problem to understand, you can, after finishing the class, you can watch the video again and again to remember and to learn. Okay. So we know that we have 3 tenses. Okay. But in case of that, we will go for simple rules. That means given verb where reporting verb, we can say that if reporting verb reported verb and changed verb. Okay. So if the first verb or the reported verb is main verb, then reported verb may be main verb, it may be past, it will remain past. Okay. Second one, if the reporting verb is past and the main verb in reported verb it's main verb or verb plus s or es, then the verb will be changed into past. Okay. 2 rules. Rules number second rule we have, if the reporting verb is past and the reported verb is also past form, then we have to use had plus past participle. Okay. And the last one, if the reporting verb is past or reported verb is in future, that means will or any modal, then we have to change the verb in would or could or past form of the modal. Okay. There are some differences that if the sentence remain habitual fact or habitual truth, then we should not change the reported verb. The reported sentence will be same. There is also a difference in case of must and had to. If in past form we have must, then we have to change into it had to. Okay. So if here is past and if we have had as verb in reported verb must, then we have to change it had to. But if it is habitual fact or universal truth, these types of sentence will no change, will be changed into must. Okay. This is the simple rule. How can we change the tense, that means verb. And in the last option we have change the time, that means change the adverb. If you have any problem you will comment and watch the video again and again. So, I am repeating once again that if reporting verb is main verb and reported verb is past, we will change the form into past. If the reporting verb is in past form and main verb, and in reported speech we have main verb, that means third person singular number or main verb, we will change the verb into past, and both the reported speech and reporting verb are in past form. We have to change the verb had plus past participle. Finally, we have past and reported verb as modal or in future tense, then we will use would or could. Most of the time, if you use would in case of should, etc., the answer will be right. But in case of oughtn't or should, it will be better for you to keep the sentences in the form of should. Okay. Finally, in habitual fact, the reported verb or reported will be remain the same. There will be no change. Okay, but in past form, if we get the reporting verb as past and reported verb as must, then we have to change must as had to. And if it is an habitual fact, it is a habitual fact, then you have to keep the sentence as it is. That means must will be remain as must. Okay. Finally, we will go for the last option, that means changing the time, place or adverb. Then we will go for our main task, identify sentence and changing the indirect speech. My class may be little bit different from the class of other teachers because they illustrate all the way how can you do the how can you complete the sentences, but I am trying to the simple method to complete the sentences. Okay, please try to understand and practice it. Last one we have adverbs. It is very common to you and you know it all, but I am once again going to write them down. If we have indirect speech, direct, indirect. Now must be changed to then, come, go, here, there, thus, so, hence, thence, this, that, these, those. Another table. If you have this as in direct speech, you have not to change anything. Okay, but if you have in direct speech this adverb, you have to change them into that. Okay, as the sort of spaces I am erasing. Ago must be changed as before. Yesterday, the last day or previous day. Tomorrow, the next day, today, that day, tonight, that night, etc. There may be left something or someone's, and in case of writing the sentences you will have, and you have to go through the books or internet, you can understand all the verbs or write them down. Finally, we will go for identify sentence, and before starting of that I am going to tell a unique thing to you. That is the difference between the old time and the modern time. That is, I haven't uttered to you that in a sentence, I am writing down the sentence, he says to me, comma, inverted comma, I am playing football now. Okay, the unique thing is that in American English or modern grammarist or in modern English, instead of comma they use that, very few. That means that, we know that instead of comma we have to use that, but in the present time the writers or the grammarian or in blog, you should notice that they are not using that. If you want to skip that, you can skip, but it will be better for you to write that instead of comma. Okay. So now I will follow these 4 rules. At first I have to identify what is the sentence. You should identify this sentence. Okay. Yes, the sentence is in assertive form. So it's an assertive sentence. You know the classification or the characteristics of sentences, and in case of assertive sentence it must have subject and verb. So you have to change the pronoun, then you have to change the verb, you have to change the adverb. So the subject in case of it is direct sentence, but in case of indirect the answer will be like that. The subject will be he, then in case of say you will use told. In case of assertive sentence you always write down told. Some of books are following the rules of says, but in case of narrative style you have to tell something to somebody. That is why you will always use tell, that means in first form told. So he says to me, that means he tells me. Instead of said to, you have to use tell. Okay. He tells me, instead of comma we will use that he, I equal to subject, that means he, then be verb comes as according to the subject, he is playing football now. As the verb, both the verb in present tense, I am not changing anything. Okay. If the verb may be, that means may be said to me, then we should write he told me that he, in past form, as the reported verb is in past form, he was playing football. Then we have to change the adverb, that means now must be changed into then. Okay, this is the simple rule for assertive sentence. Okay, go for the next sentence, that means assertive, imperative, interrogative, exclamatory or optative. Okay, so the difficult one like that, he said to me, what's your name? So you can notice that this sentence identifies the sentence. This sentence is an interrogative sentence. In case of interrogative sentence, instead of comma, you have to use if, whether or WH or HW, sorry, WH. First option is that instead of comma, if there is no WH, that means you have be verb, modal verb, have verb or any auxiliary, you can use if or whether. But whether is a little bit difficult for you. You can some student may not make difference between whether or whether. That means the word whether. Okay, that means, so this is the wrong one. So you should not use that one. If you use if, it will be better for you. But if in interrogative sentence you have W or H, then you must use the WH. There will be no chance. So in this sentence I have what? This is a WH, that is why I will not change anything and use that form. The next one is that in case of interrogative sentence, said to will be turned into asked or asks in case of present tense. Okay. So the answer will be he asked me. Instead of comma, I have to use if, whether or WH. So we have WH. We will use what? And I have said that whatever may be the sentence, the answer will be in assertive form. So here what will be used as subject, and verb here is. What means what is or was. Okay, both maybe, but in case of sentence, this is what is. So the answer will be as according to the reported verb. According to the reporting verb, said what was. Here your, I have said that I equal to subject and you equal to object. That means your must be according to the object. That means object here me. So what was your is the possessive case, and in case of me, the possessive case will be my. What was my name? And after, in the finishing point, instead of interrogation mark, we will use a full stop. That means a point. Next on, we have interrogative, optative, and an exclamative sentence. And after finishing that, in next class I will go for passage narration. I am just at the finishing point of my today's class, though it was a long lecture for you. Think that you are enjoyed my class, and see you on next class. And till then, Allah Hafiz. ভাই চেঞ্জ করে দেন। পজ করছে স্যার? ওকে।